Y'all, I am excited to introduce my friend Peter Thompson, who comes to us from Pepperdine University. He is the director of, why did I just forget? The director of service learning, the director of the Volunteer Center. I've known Peter for about 7 years. He is a dad, a husband, a faithful follower of Jesus, and he has a story. So I want to challenge you, if you usually sit here and you have your headphones in and you have your telephone, put it down and listen, because he has an amazing testimony to share. So would you all please give me the attention that I think you need so we can give it to Peter, and let's give him a warm William Jessup welcome. Peter Thompson, everybody. He loves the hoopla.
There it is. Hi, good to thank you, sir. Brandon Farmer, everybody. You guys are lucky to have him. I got to work with him at Pepperdine, and it was extremely sad that he left, but I think you guys won on that deal. I'm hoping that I do well enough today that next time they'll invite me to the main stage. I'm enjoying this my personal stage here. So thank you so much. I got to be here a little early. I got to walk around campus, and I realized I really relate to your student body. I was in the CAF, and I really saw myself there, that my hair loss really kind of fit in. My love of eating dinner around like 4 p.m. was shared by a lot of you. There was a lot of talk of the good old days. I smelled a lot of Vicks Vapor Rub for some reason, and everyone loves hard candies. And so then I learned that actually they were all from your rival school or community, Sun City. I feel like, I got the last over here, and I think those were your faculty. So I blame Farmer for that one. But my name is Peter Thompson. I come to you from Pepperdine, like he said. I'm glad I'm not the first person from Malibu to sit on this stage or stand and share with you, because who from Malibu, what do they have anything to share with someone from this area, from the Bay Area? But hopefully something, so let's hear. My roots are actually Texan. My heart's a little bit Ukrainian. I spent the first 27 years of my life in Texas. That's where I grew up. Then my wife and I went to Ukraine for over 2 years with the Peace Corps. And so you can see me and her. This is my wife, Katie. We were married for about 3 years before we went over there. We're in traditional Ukrainian Kozak clothing with our host family, and we had an amazing experience there. By the way, it's much harder to go from Ukraine to Malibu than it is from Texas to Ukraine, if anyone's planning that move soon. But I'm very excited to be here for lots of reasons. The first one is my connection to this greater Bay Area, to the American River, and to the gold rush. In September of 1848, my super great-great-grandfather, John Eli Brockett, got on a boat, the Emma Packer, in the bay up in New England. He was from Connecticut. He got on the Emma Packer and sailed south. This is 1848. He had to go all the way south around the south of South America. This is Cape Horn. And then up north all the way to the San Francisco Bay. It was 171 days on a ship in 1848 into 1849. He made his way all the way around there and eventually got through San Francisco, made his way to Sacramento, up the American River, found a stake of land in a gulch, as he describes it. There's all these letters that my family's held on to over the generations. And for a couple years, he was pulling $200 to $400 a week out of the ground. And somehow he survived years out in California. And while he didn't get as rich as he thought he would, he had enough to return home, this time through the Panama Canal, so it was a little faster, excuse me, and start life back in Connecticut, paying off debts, having a family that kind of resulted in me a few generations later. But it's a big story in my family. There's books written about him, and it's pretty crazy. So there's this picture we have that hung on my grandparents' wall, the original of this. He's the young shaven gentleman, so he's without the beard on the left, kind of the bottom squatting down, and that's kind of near Volcano, California, if you guys have been over there. So I intentionally bring up my ancestors, my connection to this land, honestly to this stolen land that wasn't John Brockett's to pillage. From what I could find, this area is the land of the Nisenan people of the southern Maidu, maybe the Miwok people. That I would learn some of California's earliest native peoples to be eradicated, most likely because of the value of the resources in this land that were taken over. We Americans continue to act like colonizers and pillagers. We ask for God's forgiveness and guidance towards action, justice, and reconciliation. And if you're thinking that just because the Chiefs beat the 49ers on Sunday, it just doesn't even it out. We still have a long way to go. Appreciate the Snickers. So I'm going to do an awkward transition here into me. So this is my family. Here they are. They're coming. Here they are. I get to tell you my story today. You already met my beautiful wife, Katie. We met and dated our freshman year of college. So watch out, those of you in relationships in the room. She broke up with me freshman year. But that may not be the end of your story. God might have different plans. We found each other 5 years later, and we never looked back. Liam, our oldest, right there, he's 8, and he's in 3rd grade. He loves school. He loves reading. He loves Legos. He loves Plants vs. Zombies, and he plays it. He reads about it. He loves zombies. I love being a girl dad. This is my girl, Adelaide. She turns 6 next Friday, so look ahead. Yes, she's our Valentine's girl, Valentine's lady. She's our ladybug, Addie. She loves Barbies and Frozen and Friends and being outside. She is so strong and so independent. She brings so much light in our lives. And then Zion, excuse me, he's the little guy. So he's 2. He's 2, and he is all joy, he's laugh, he is unconditional love, and he glues our family together. He's all smiles and curls, and he will melt you. He is truly Zion. He is God's dwelling place. The story that brings me here started the day after Zion turned 1 year old. It was in July of 2018, when headaches, depression, and nausea, pain, over a few months ended up leading me to an emergency room visit. It was the day after one of the biggest days at Pepperdine, and for my job, it's called Step Forward Day. I'm the director of the Pepperdine Volunteer Center, which he almost got to, and our September 8th is this day where we have 1,200 people serving in Los Angeles County, Ventura County, and on that day, I think you're familiar with Feed My Starving Children. We had 400 people packing 100,000 meals that day as well. And then September 9th, my wife had trouble waking me up and took me to the emergency room. A CT scan revealed a mass. A middle of the night MRI led to waking up in the neuro ICU. And a Monday morning visit from a brain surgeon. My only memory is feeling my wife, Katie's hand in mine, and hearing that I had a high-grade malignant brain tumor and that I was going in for brain surgery that Thursday. So if you do this with your hand and make a fist, they removed a tumor this big, about the size of a baseball, 9 centimeters, from my right frontal lobe, right here. My name is Peter, and I have cancer. I have grade 4 glioblastoma. With only a moment's notice, I was surrounded by friends and family from all around the country. God is good, and I woke up from that very successful surgery. But I couldn't help but be oblivious to the gravity and the weight of everything and seriousness of what I had just gone through. God took me then on a roller coaster of the highest highs and the lowest of lows when you're sitting in an ICU after brain surgery. I was 37 years old with 3 young kids, and the kingdom of heaven came much closer than I ever expected and what I was prepared for. And the lows were so incredibly low for me. This guy, you just got to meet Zion. He had just turned 1. I knew my boy Liam, and I knew he knew me. My girl Adelaide, we connected. She knew me, but this guy knew me as a beautiful baby and 1-year-old could. But he would not be able to remember me if something were to happen. I cried out to God, why would you bring this boy, Zion, whose name means God's dwelling place, into my life for him not to be raised by me? Coming home from the hospital was rough. Coming down off of narcotics is rough. When people first saw me, I could see it in their face. I thought I felt good. I thought I looked good, but they were looking at a ghost. After recovering from what was essentially a version of a lobotomy, next came radiation and chemo for 6 weeks. That was right, if you remember, fall of 18, all the fires down in Southern California, and a mass shooting that we lost a student at Pepperdine. This is while I'm getting radiation and chemo. I think I was most scared about the chemo because, one, I lived in Ukraine downriver from Chernobyl, by the way, and all I knew about chemo was my grandmother, who that's what took her life was the chemo. Chemotherapy, let's see, radiation, again, are beams of intense energy, X-rays, proton, science going into your head. Chemotherapy is intracellular poisons used to inhibit mitosis and cell division. Harpreet's a biology major. There's some other in the room. Maybe that's interesting to you. I spent 6 weeks intentionally on a road to death, complete with poison and proton beams. So much so that I lost all of my hair and about 50 pounds. After a short break from pills and long drives to radiation in Los Angeles, I started an increasing dosage of chemo for 6 months. I was literally breaking down my life to prolong it, trading poison for life. So that's the quick glimpse into my story from September 2018 to November 2019. But that's not the whole story. There's never just one story because we believe in a God that is love. It's important to know and share that part of my story because I should not have expected anything less or anything else for my life. There will be a big obstacle in your life that will be turned into a gift by God. I mentioned brain surgery. My skull, if you want to close your ears for a second, it was literally opened. They pulled out part of my skull. They took out part of my brain and put the skull back with some titanium plates. You can feel the screws if you're interested afterwards. Recovering from surgery, I realized that I felt so much better. The headaches that had plagued me for months were gone. Unknowingly, I had been in this depression fog that had been lifted. What I thought was all I could expect from life was not life to the full, not John 10:10. Getting the tumor out changed everything. If you are interested in miracles, Jesus gave sight to blind people. Almost as cool as having worn glasses since you were in junior high school, and then having surgery where they put a bunch of staples to put your scalp back together. This is a trigger warning for this one. I couldn't wear glasses because I had staples, and I was in a tiny little hospital room. But then driving home after surgery, I started to realize I can see further than I thought I could. There was the ridge in the mountains, Santa Monica Mountains, was much clearer. But I thought it was just my eyes adjusting. But my optometrist and doctor confirmed 20/20 vision, so I no longer need glasses. Recovery after surgery sounds rough. My brain was exposed to the elements, but reality is that I was home on disability leave with my family. My priority was my family, and I got to be with them. I got to be papa to my 3 kids. And guess what kids don't care about? They don't care about surgery, staples, hair loss, doctor's appointments, medications, poison, radio. They don't care. They never stopped seeing me. They never stopped seeing their dad. So, that lowest of low moments, there may be a song coming on here, where I dared to question God. I'm going to get rid of this timer for some reason. The lowest of low moments when I dared to question God. Why would he put Zion into my life? It immediately led to the answers and came from an unlikely place, Lauryn Hill. This song is to Zion, and the joy of my world is in Zion. Every night I put him to bed, I sing this to him, and know that his joy, the joy that he's bringing into the world, the joy that is given to the world through God, that miracles can happen, that he, through God, can save me and cure me. I believe Zion is truly here for that purpose. Remember me talking about all that radiation, the protons into my head. Nothing else you could do when you're sitting there strapped to a table while you're getting radiation beams is to pray. And those moments were some of the deepest, most meaningful prayers I've ever had in my life. And it became a life-giving time for me while being radiated. I was given... It's another awkward transition. I was given a 23-month prognosis. A prognosis is the average amount of life that you have after being diagnosed with a terminal illness. So does anyone know when they'll die? What we do know is the story of Jesus is our story. God became human. He knew he would physically die. We know we will physically die. But he knew that wasn't the end. We desire to be Christ-like, and we follow the path set by Jesus. We cannot avoid the suffering. We cannot avoid the death as much as we try to convince ourselves that our story and life will be different, will be easy. We know this to be true, but we keep choosing to think that life is supposed to be without obstacles, that if I do the right thing, if I do certain things, that I will be rewarded with no pain, no loss, no tragedy, no setbacks. God uses the Bible to tell us it's not going to look like that. Jesus' life did not look like that. I hope your story does not have to be another cancer story like mine, but it's going to be rough. Expect it to be rough. And knowing that it's rough is knowing that it's God's story. That it is God's story for your life and that God has already won. And that you will get through it. And that you will get through it stronger, better, more resilient. With a depressed fog lifted off your life. With 20/20 vision when it wasn't there before. With life-giving, redemptive moments. You can expect both. And the story you can choose to live in is that redemptive one. And that you will receive a 23-month prognosis in one way or another in your life, and you will trust in the redemptive God revealed through Jesus. And when August 2020, can kind of do some math with me, becomes September 2020, when you were not supposed to see the sun rise 2 years after brain surgery, you will know that God has already won. Jesus conquering death is not possible without the cross. As Christians, we have redeemed a weapon, a symbol of death and torture, the cross. But we proudly say, no, our God conquered death, and so can I. So I wear that cross. I put it on my body. I put it on your campus, not on the stage. Campus. We are waiting for Easter Sunday, but God has taken us through the cross first. We will be pierced in our hands, feet, side. We will be ridiculed, spat upon, mocked, but Easter will come. This is my jam. There's a song coming. The world is not limited by human logic, but we are not defined by man, by people, by doctor's prognosis, what science or what medicine says. What is science or medicine without God? Indulge me as we listen to this song that's giving me life. In 2019, all last year, I got to go on a redemptive tour and hang out with these guys. These are the Avett Brothers. Anybody? Listen to them if you haven't. So that a year after surgery, I got to be at a concert in Red Rocks, Colorado, which is an amazing experience. I've seen them at the Greek Theater in LA, Santa Barbara Bowl, and I've gotten to meet them. These are good people singing about redemptive work. Find music, find a band that gives you life. Every 2 months, I go in for an MRI, and I get clear scans, which is God's grace on my life. I am off all medications, and I feel great. I will never, thank you. I will never be in remission. You don't want to hear doctors say it will always come back. But that's what a doctor says. That's not what my God says. I won't be in remission. But, again, God has already won. Jesus has already won. I am good. As I close, and I'm doing so good on time, so you're welcome. Give me 2 more minutes. To list out some thoughts because they're on my mind. And I think there's someone in here who needs to hear them. And maybe come find me, come find a neighbor, come find a friend, someone on housing staff. I know one who's pretty cool, maybe 2. There's a couple guys over there. Dave, I got to meet Dave, Dr. Dave. You have a prayer team on the wings coming up in a minute. Find them. So, look at this fun list. Don't you guys love lists? Choose relationships over institution. Relationships over empire, over people. Choose relationships. Turn judgment into compassion and curiosity. And this is a big week to do that in our life. There is abundance. Abundance over scarcity. Zero sum means there's only a finite amount of love and life. But choose generation. We can generate over a zero sum. Our life is God's muscle. We get stronger by being used. That's how muscles grow and get stronger. You tear them down to build them up. We get when we give. The more we give, the more we have to give. This is a mantra that got me through my lower times. I'm here and I'm okay. Find something that works. It's kind of a breath prayer as well. I'm here and I'm okay. That worked for me when I started to head towards the edge. I needed to just know that I'm here and I'm okay. Here's a hashtag that won't catch on. Be willing to be found. I also last year got to see Evan Hansen, You Will Be Found. And so I'm not original here, but you are in community. You can look around right now and see that you're not alone. You don't know it, but you have been dropping seeds as you've walked through life. And when you need it, turn around and look back at that garden, at that forest, that orchard of support that's standing right back there. Don't wait. Excuse me. Don't wait till you're getting brain surgery to realize it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's right there. Be clear and direct with what you want. You'll probably get it. Serve. You know how to do it. Do it often. Do it with your heart. It's my life mission. It's what Jesus did. God redeems all things, reconciles all things. He redeems all things and reconciles all things. Believe it. And I say this to my kids every night. Nothing can separate you from God's love. I say it to you today. Know it today. Nothing can separate you from God's love. Stand and receive this blessing from me. It's Romans 8:38. I'm sending you off with this. For I'm convinced that neither death nor life, nor angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any power, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you.